Music now and a song from one of the great voices of rock. Later on in the programme, I shall be talking to him, and he'll be singing a song from his new album, which is called Human. Right now, he's going to sing a song that 30 years ago gave him his first hit and set him on the path to international stardom. With him now, as then, another great of rock and roll, Ronnie Wood. So this is special. The song, Maggie May, the singer, Rod Stewart. More of Rod Stewart and the band in just more music now, and a song from Rod Stewart's new album, which is called Human, and it's very good too. The single from the album is called I Can't Deny It, and here to sing it, of course, Mr. Rod Stewart.
Tell you how much I love you, never put no one above you. It's just you in my heart, and you're making me wild. How can I tell you just what I'm feeling? I'm at you, I'm just a bleeding man. Yeah, girl, it's right. Get excited, I can't deny it. When it feels this good. I dig ya. Oh, baby, ain't no figure. It's just you in my heart, and you're making me wild. How can I tell you just what I'm feeling? I'm gonna jump off the ceiling now. Get down, girl, let's ride it. Oh, oh, get excited. Oh, oh, I can't deny it. Oh, oh, when it feels this good. Touch you, yeah, the way you touch me, 'cause when you touch me, girl, the way I love you, oh yeah, and baby, I just can't stop crying since I found you.
Charmer. Mr. Sit yourself down. That was good. The great
if I take my jacket
No,
off?
please do, mate. No. The great thing about you have such fun doing rock and roll, don't you? It looks great fun. It really does.
Keep your knees warm.
It's actually a beautiful jacket. That's lovely. So. That was very good.
She's asked me why I brought the newspaper on.
Oh, why you brought the newspaper?
Because there's one thing I want to sort out.
Go on.
It was in the papers today.
What did it say?
In the Daily Express.
Here we go.
We're just looking through, and it
says...
I've got to find the bloody
middle
page.
page.
It's the middle page, and it says I'm 5'5",
But where are we?
And I'm really upset. Oh, there it is.
There.
See, it says there, there's little George Clooney and all little tiny people. I should be right up there because I'm nearly 6 feet. Measure. Have a measure up.
Big chap,
Did you used to be in the Guards?
That upset you, did it?
It does. It really upset me. I think it's, as you said, because the girlfriend's 6'1".
Fancy being upset by that, though.
Well, you've
been around long enough.
Well, I'm getting tall.
Now, listen, that's the record itself, the album's lovely. It's a very mellow mood, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. It's, I suppose you could call it like a modern R&B album. But it's very mellow and soft. Because that's because I kept Ronnie Wood off it, you see.
How is he?
He's great. You can't walk in his dressing room, there's a smoke in there. It's like, God, yeah. He does like his old fags.
That was great, actually, watching the two together, because I mean, that must have taken you back as well. I mean, 30 years of that song.
Well, what's remarkable is when we used to do Top of the Pops, we used to come here and do it. And I think we've only played it together once since the early 70s. That was an unplugged album I did.
Yes.
And he remembered it and I remembered it, which is quite remarkable considering we've got 120 odd years between the two of us.
So, but it did change your life, didn't it? Change your career and everything.
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
passport to all of it. Okay, now this album now, would I be right in thinking that it's about a more reflective, mature Rod Stewart now? I mean, I just wondered if you were slowing down a bit, Rod.
Well, you know, it's as you get a bit older, I suppose. I don't go mad 7 nights of the week. I keep it to Friday and Saturday nights now. But you know, you're getting older, so you got grown up. You know, the body doesn't work quite as well as it used to, but it's not far off. But I've cut back on the drinking a lot.
You have?
Yeah. Well, I never was a great drinker. I've cut back on what I used to drink.
Yes. And the kids growing up.
You should see my dressing room. There's booze everywhere.
And the kids growing up too. And of course, your eldest daughter is on the video of the single,
Kimberly. Yeah,
Kimberly, that's right.
Kimberly's 21 now, and she's beautiful. I'm very lucky. I've got 5 beautiful kids.
You've got 5 kids, and they all live in California.
Yeah, and they all live within 2 minutes.
And 3 wives.
Three mothers and 2 wives.
3 mothers and 2 wives.
Even I have to think about that one sometimes.
What's Christmas like at your house? I mean, how do you get?
Well, it's you know, we're talking about the 3 blondes and a turkey. And they all,
sort of thing.
They all came. It was really wonderful. I mean, I've got to have a great relationship with your ex-wives and girlfriends is tremendous. But they all came over and cooked me Christmas dinner.
Did they?
Christmas before last. Yeah, there were no fights, no punch-ups. The turkey was totally forgotten about. It was really wonderful. It speaks volumes, I think.
It speaks volumes for your charm or something.
I was
how do
hoping
you
you were
do
going
it?
to say that,
how are you going to do it? I mean, how do you do it? It's quite remarkable.
It is remarkable.
It is.
It's got nothing to do with Viagra either.
No.
It's because he's so tall.
That's what it is, darling.
It's so tall.
Well, you like tall men, don't you? Your husband's tall, isn't he?
I don't have a husband, but...
I thought you were married.
No.
Oh, sorry, darling. I
That's
thought you
on
were married.
telly.
Oh, wow. Oh, I wish I was dead. Well, I live in California, so, you know, we don't get all those programmes out there.
Tell us about, of course, last year you had this throat scare, didn't you, this illness?
Yeah, it was a...
And in fact, that record that you made, that was delayed. It was a bit doing it because of your voice.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened exactly.
Well, I went for a medical. CAT scan. A good friend of mine went to, he said, why don't you have a CAT scan? I said, just a regular medical. Have a CAT scan. It's just you know, like an X-ray of your whole body, and it tells you if there's any disease in there. I'm sure you know what it is. And sure enough, I thought, well, I'll steam through that. But there was a small, little, tiny pimple, if I may use that word, of cancer on the thyroid gland. And I maybe could have left it for 2 or 3 years, and it would have been okay. But 4 or 5 years, it could have been lethal. So, you know, I was so lucky. Early detection, people. Early detection screams out. And so I went into hospital and had it out, and I was back home 24 hours and was playing football 10 days later.
Ah, good. Well, thank God you got it early on.
It was only a pimple.
That's a pimple. That's right. But I mean, did you? But I mean, nonetheless, you had it. You had to think about it. You had to contemplate probably never singing again, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, it took me about 6 months to get the voice back. I mean, it's not really back to its former strength, but it's getting there. But you know, I wondered what I was going to do for a living. You know, landscape gardener, or really, it was something you've taken for granted all your life, and suddenly it's not there.
Yes.
Scary.
And had you? I mean, before that, had you looked after your voice? I mean,
Oh yeah.
You did. I mean,
yeah. So I don't smoke.
Yeah.
You know,
so that's a big help for
Yeah.
us.
And now you're doing work, in fact, for early detection, aren't you, of cancers in America?
Yeah, I'm doing my bit. I'm supporting the City of Hope, which is really a cancer hospital for kids. And it's really, you know, you walk in, you see, like, you know, a 2-year-old kid totally scalped, 10% chance of living because of bone marrow cancer. And the two parents either side of the bed. I mean, what do you say? I mean, you just don't, it's just heartbreaking. I was lucky. I mean, I was so lucky. So it makes you think that God's given you a chance and, you know, you've got to make the most of it and spread the word.
You also gave, was it all the rights to do Think I'm Sexy to UNICEF, didn't you, as
Yeah.
well? What I wondered was, I mean, how does this square with Ronnie Wood's famous quote about you, that you're tighter than 2 coats of paint?
Yeah, Ronnie,
I mean, how could he say this about a chap who gives his money away?
that's true. Ronnie's always gone on about me being tight, but he knows I'm not. And my brother's in the audience, my sister's in the audience. I'm not tight, am I, Don? No. They are, there they are. Hey, the Stewarts are here.
Now, going back and looking back in your career, one thing that I'd never realised before until I read about it was this part of your career where you were a beatnik and a busker. Tell me about the busking. I mean, how old were you? Was this after you'd done the football at Brentford?
No, this was all, yeah, just afterwards. I must have been...
Because you went to Brentford and were going to be a professional footballer.
Yeah, yeah.
But why didn't you? I mean, what was wrong?
Too lazy.
Was it?
Yeah, I think I really just wanted to do it for me dad because we're a big footballing family.
Yeah.
The 2 brothers played, and so I think I was trying to keep him happy. But you know, my heart was already set on music, so I just went down there for a couple of weeks. I really wasn't interested. I wasn't committed to it.
Right. Well, what about the busking then?
Oh, the buskings was amazing. Yeah, yeah. We used to, it was an interesting story actually because I was in Paris about 3 years ago, and I went in Saint-Germain, which is on the left bank where I used to busk. I was sitting there having a glass of beer, and all of a sudden a guy came along busking, and he was singing one of my songs, Tonight's the Night. It was like a complete circle. This guy's busking, and asked me if I gave him any money.
Did you give
Of
him any
course
money?
I did, Michael. Of course I did.
You gave the rights to a song you'd written, yeah. But, so you went in all around the continent, were you, or...?
No, I went, lived in, well, I didn't live. We slept under the bridges near the Eiffel Tower most nights, and I got down as far as Barcelona. Used to sleep in the football ground. You know, it used to get a bit noisy on a Saturday afternoon, but... And then we all got thrown out because we were vagrants, and we were all flown back home. That was the end of my beatnik period, then I became a mod.
When you're a beatnik, what...
You'll make sure you two are not falling asleep here.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. I mean, how did you get to where you are from where you came from?
Yeah,
It's interesting.
it is.
And when you were this beatnik person, what did your parents reckon about you then? I mean, what did you look like? What were you dressed like?
I had very, very long hair. It was about down to there. And we used to, like, go out of our way to smell. It was so, smell is bad. Never used to bathe. We used to, like, sleep in sleeping bags and didn't bathe, and just, if you really got really smelly, it was believed to be so antisocial, and that's what we were trying to be.
Right.
I mean, Dad was not amused. But they did, my mum and Dad and my brothers and sisters gave me a bit of leeway. I think they thought there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel sooner or later.
But, I mean, what was going through your mind at the time? I mean, what did you want to be at that time?
Oh, I got no idea. I mean,
No
who
idea
does
at all?
when you're 16, 17?
I don't know, some people do know what they want to be, but you didn't at all.
I know some people in their 30s and 40s don't know what they're going to do.
This is absolutely true, yeah. So, but then, what was the moment? Was it Maggie May? Was it before that? Was it when you met Ronnie Woods? What was the moment when you decided you committed yourself full-time to being a rock and roller, being a singer?
I was offered a job when I was 19 by Long John Baldry. That's the old story. He heard me singing on a railway station. He said, "Young man, would you like to join my band?" and I did. And in those days, I was getting £35 a week, when £20 a week was a huge wage. So I was spoilt right from the top. And then I went from John and several other bands, and I joined the Faces with Woody.
Yeah.
Who's in the wings somewhere.
He's in the wings somewhere. He's been lying down in his room, probably, contemplating the meaning of life.
With a lightly boiled egg.
And then Maggie May. And then Maggie May, and then, of course, the rest is history. Did you, though, imagine when you start off that career after Long John Baldry and all that Maggie May, and you started going to America, did you then foresee the kind of superstardom that you'd have? Was it going to... was it like you imagined it might be?
No, you never... When you get into the music business, you never think of riches, really. You just want to do something that's a burning ambition in your soul. And you don't really care about getting famous. If you get famous, that's fine. But you've got to do this thing. And I think that's maybe what's wrong with a lot of musicians nowadays. They haven't got that burning desire to sing. Because I was 6 years before I even got to a recording studio.
Yeah.
6 years just going up and down the M1. And even before the M1, the A1.
Yes.
You know, just doing my, what we call, apprenticeship.
But you love performing. I mean,
I do,
you're on stage, you see it here, you know, you enjoy it. You come
Yeah, I do.
alive doing it.
I do. I'm really boring off the stage.
But
I've got to go now.
But going back, I mean, tonight George Best was supposed to be on the show tonight, and he was much looking forward to seeing you. Of course, there's a kind of mutual admiration society there.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah. Were you? Was that really what you would have wanted to be? That football, that great player, Jim Baxter, Georgie Best.
Hey, Jimmy Baxter. Not at that time in my life. I mean, believe it or not, I enjoy playing football now at this old age, and I'm more keen now. I mean, you should see me, like, if we're playing on Sunday, all day Saturday I'm looking at my boots and polishing them and making sure my shin guards are okay. And so I love it more now than any time in my life, playing football.
It's sad about George, though, isn't it? It's, have you seen him at all lately?
Last time I saw him was when we did a concert in Manchester about 3 years ago, 4 years.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, this addiction, isn't it? And some addictive personalities, which of course he is. That's the point. I mean, you and I can go and have a drink, and that's all right. He can't stop. And
so George, we're all thinking of you, mate. Aren't we thinking of George?
We are thinking of him, yeah.
One of the greatest ever players.
Yeah, he's a nice man too, and an important part of my life too. And Maureen's too. We were in Manchester in the '60s, you know, when all that was happening up there, and he was there, and what Slack
He was
Alice's and all
so
that.
beautiful.
He was beautiful,
God.
wasn't he?
He was the best you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
he's charming, and he's funny. Hear him make a speech, and after dinner speech, God,
Wasn't very tall, though, was he?
he was
In fact,
next
I just had to get that one in.
You know,
I've met very few people on this show, actually, and I've been a long time were as tall as you.
Really?
I have to tell you that, yeah. Really. And I think...
respect.
Really, it makes sense.
Just sit up straight now. Stick your chest
And,
out.
I mean, and all the best singers have been tall when you think about it.
They are when you come to think
It
of
They
was
are.
frightening when you walked on, Rod.
It was.
wasn't it?
You know, it was.
Did you feel there was a God amongst you?
She said to me, I didn't realise he was tall as that. That's what she said to me as we walked on.
Oh, I suppose I asked for that, really. didn't I?
Absolutely. Now, what about... Let me talk to you now about your love life.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, aye. Now, are you going to get married again, do you think?
Well, oh, she's sitting over there. It's, you know, I've been married twice, and I've just been out. The other marriage, the last one, finished about 2 years ago. And it's not right now, but, you know, never say never. She told me to say that. I'm not in the mood to get married now. I've been bitten twice, and we're enjoying, we're just going day for day, aren't we? Penny, you there?
Were you very upset the last time, the last marriage? When that
Oh, it's
broke?
heartbreaking, yeah, because it was... You know, I thought this was going to be the marriage of my life, you know. Didn't look at any other women, didn't mess about for 9 years while I was married. And it just fell apart, you know. She was too young, wasn't her fault. I should have known better. Someone should have said, Rod, this is going to end in tears. She was 21, I was 45.
Yes.
But it was great for 9 years. I'd rather have 9 years of wonderful marriage than 40 years of misery. What say you?
Yes, absolutely. I do. No, it's absolutely true. I just... I mean, I look at your...
Steady.
Well... I read about you in research and I'm full of admiration. But then I didn't realise how tall you were, you see.
Oh, I'm never going to live this down. I'm never going to live this down.
Now, this record that you made, as I said, it's very different. It's a gentler and it's a softer, mellower kind of approach. It's very good indeed, some lovely songs. What's after this? Are you touring? Are you going...
Yeah, we start in the States in June. We'll be here in September, I think, Earl's Court and a charity show at the Albert Hall, which I'm looking forward to.
And it'll all be based around, of course, Scotland's fixtures in the World Cup.
It is. You know, that's absolutely right, because they play their next games in September.
Listen,
How
I'm
did
ahead
you
of it.
know that?
Of course, that's right. And I think that's wonderful, actually, because, I mean, it's this tradition, actually, of sporting mad stars having their meetings and doing their concerts around a sporting car is not new. Because what's his name? Was that Trevor Howard? He loved cricket. He used to have all script meetings at Lord's doing a test match. Fabulous. And I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the real definition of a star. And you're a big star, and you're taller than Trevor Howard. No, you're taller than Trevor Howard. But you're not quite as tall as Tasman Arthur. But good to see you, mate, and good to see you in such great form and good nick. And thanks for coming on the show. Rod Stewart.
Thank you.
Thanks to Rod Stewart, to Tamsin Outhwaite and Maureen Lipman. Next week, my guests are Hugh Grant, Amanda Burton and Robbie Williams. Until then, from all of us here... Ooh, Mrs. He's tall, too. Very good night. Good night.